Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Dinosaur deck. So I'm really excited for this one because this deck is a really good meta contender, and I am really excited to show you guys this deck because it's absolutely insane and just keeps on going. Like, this deck with Miscellaneousaurus at 3 is just absolutely nuts and is an insanely good deck to play around with, and I'm really excited to show you guys this deck because it is insanely good, especially with Ultimate Conductor Tyranno being like one of the best boss monsters ever created in the game. It's just absolutely a crazy deck. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell news so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below where we have all sorts of awesome rewards, you guys, like getting your name description every single video, getting a signed card in the mail, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hand. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. So Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is an insanely good boss monster in this deck because basically what this card does is you can special summon this card to your side of the field by banishing 2 dinosaur type monsters from your graveyard. And then once returned during either player's main phase, you can destroy 1 monster in your hand or field, and if you do, you change all face-up monster your opponent controls to face-down defense position, and this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And at the start of the battle phase, if this card attacks a defense position monster or start a damage step, if this card attacks a defense position monster, you inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent, and if you do, destroy that monster and send it to the graveyard, which is insanely good that it just instantly sends those cards to the graveyard. You can just instantly inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent and you just send it to the graveyard. It doesn't destroy it, actually just sends them, which is insanely good. And it's just an insanely easy card to summon to your side of the field, especially with double evolution pill. To be able to special summon that card to your side of the field basically for free is just absolutely crazy. We then play a single copy of Dolgaran because Dolgaran can be a really good search for the deck to out a lot of cards to throw on your opponent's side of the field. It's really just a good out to a lot of stuff, which is why I play this card as a 1-of. 1 copy of Pankratops because you can special summon it to your side of the field if your building controls more monsters than you do. So if you do get pushed to go second, which you usually, in my build, I like to go second with dinosaurs because you can special summon this card to your side of the field and then pop off with your copy of your dinosaur monsters. It's just a really good card overall. 1 copy of Giant Rex because if it's banished, you can special summon it, which is an insanely good effect. We play 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. Soul Eating Oviraptor is really good because it's probably the single best normal summon in the entire deck. Because if this card is normal summon or special summon, you can take a dinosaur type monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. And then you can target 1 other level 4 or lower dinosaur type monster on the field, destroy it, and then you can special summon a dinosaur monster from your graveyard in defense position. You only each of this card once per turn, but it's already crazy because it's getting you a search, and then it can also get you a special summon, which is insanely good just to be able to get you more cards. And with the copies of your Baby Ceratosaurus and Petite Pterodon, this card can be absolutely insane. We then play 3 copies of the most busted card in the deck, and that is 3 copies of Miscellaneousaurus, because Miscellaneousaurus is single-handedly one of the best cards in the entire deck, because during either player's main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and then during the main phase, dinosaur type monsters are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. And then you manage this card from your graveyard, and then you can, including this card, you manage this and as many dinosaurs as you want to special summon a dinosaur monster from your deck that is equal to the same level of dinosaur monsters that you banish. So for example, if I banish 4 dinosaur monsters, including Miscellaneousaurus, I can special summon a level 4, which is absolutely crazy. And it's got that protection as well, which is just an insanely good effect. We then play 2 copies of Baby Ceratosaurus. Baby Ceratosaurus is a really good card in the deck too, because it has a really neat effect that if it is destroyed, then it gains the ability to be able to special summon a dinosaur that's level 4 or lower from your deck to your side of the field, which is a really good effect. We then play a single copy of Petite Pterodon. Petite Pterodon is really good because if this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 5 or higher monster that's a dinosaur monster from your deck, but it can't attack during this turn, which is not that big of a deal, but it has to be level 4 or higher. So basically you just play 2 and 1. The Petite Pterodon is a little bit better, or not Petite Pterodon, but the Baby Ceratosaurus is a little bit better, but this card is still needed as a 1-of. We then play 2 copies of the Orby Dinosaur. I just call this the Orby Dinosaur, but basically what it does is if this card is normal or special summon, you can destroy 1 dinosaur monster in your hand or face up from your field, except another copy of itself, to add a Reptile, Sea Serpent, or a Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand. And also has the ability that, or a evolution pill from your deck to your hand, which is a really good effect just to be able to add the evolution pill. You're only ever going to use that evolution pill effect to be able to grab that from your deck to your hand, because it's really important to get that card to get your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom just really helps out a lot because Ash Blossom can be able to stop all your opponent's shenanigans. We then play 2 copies of the Meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs, ironically enough in in the deck, which is Nibiru. Nibiru actually is a planet, but it was, you know, it does the thing, so it's great. It's a meme in itself on this deck. But basically what this card does is if your opponent special summons more than 5 times, or normal summons, and if they summon more than 5 times, then you get to special summon this card and send all cards to the graveyard, and then they get a token, which is pretty good. Then we play 3 copies of Cyframe Gear Gamma. Gamma is really good in the deck too because it can stop your opponent's hand traps, and it's just overall one of the best hand traps ever created, and he can stop a bunch of stuff, which is really nice. And then we play a single copy of Driver just to back it up, because you have to play Driver and Gamma in the deck, which allows us to go into Omega in the extra deck, which is going to be able to, you know, get your opponent for 2 cards during your turn, because if they go off and if they get you on your turn right off the bat with a copy of Ash Blossom, like you activate a copy of, say, Pot of Extravagance or something like that against your opponent, and you activate this, and then you summon it to your side of the field with the Driver on your side of the field, you can synchro for a copy of the of Cyframe Lord Omega if your opponent if you don't hit it with your copy of Extravagance, which is just a fine example of how to get your opponent for 2 cards out of their hand during the first turn. They'll start with 3, which is really funny, or 4 because they'll get a draw, but it's still pretty cool. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance can be replaced with the new card from the Blazing Vortex pack if you guys get that one, which is a really awesome pot card. But basically what it does is, what Pot of Extravagance does is you banish 3 to 6 of your cards from your extra deck face down, and then you can draw 1 for every 3 to 6. But it's a really good card to play in the deck to be able to draw 2. I prefer this one over the new one, because this one lets you draw 2, opposed to the other one just letting you add one of the cards that you reveal off the top of your deck to your hand. I just like having the card advantage off of this one a little bit better, because you do break even with the other one, but this one actually is a +1, which is why I like it. We then play 2 copies of the Double Evolution Pill. Double Evolution Pill is pretty good because it lets you banish a dinosaur and any other monster from your graveyard or from your hand or graveyard to summon a level 7 or higher dinosaur monster from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is always going to be your copy of your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. But it's a really awesome card just to play in the deck to get your copy of your Ultimate Conductor. 3 copies of Fossil Dig. Fossil Dig searches any of your dinosaur monsters that are level 6 or lower, which is an insanely good effect to add your copy of Oviraptor from your deck to your hand, or the Orbi dinosaur that you can then normal summon, use its effect, grab what you need, link it away, and then pop off from there. I mean, it's just insanely good. 1 copy of Terraforming. Terraforming searches our copy of Lost World, which we do play 3 copies of Lost World in the deck too, which 3 copies of Lost World is insanely good in this deck, because Lost World is an insane field spell that what it does is that all monsters on the field lose 500 attack and defense except for dinosaur monsters, which is just an added effect of what it already does. And then once per turn, if a dinosaur type monster is normal or special summon, you can special summon a Drasseg to your opponent's side of the field, or to the opponent player's side of the field, which is really cool in defense position. And then while your opponent controls a token, they cannot target monsters on the field with card effects except token monsters. And then once per turn, if a normal summon or normal monsters on the field would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can destroy that many dinosaur monsters on your hand or deck instead, which is really cool to be able to protect your monsters and be able to destroy a Petite Pterodon or a Baby Ceratosaurus in the deck to get you a special summon off of it. This card is always a +1, which is super nice, and I really love this card in this deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just playing 3, and that is 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. You just need the 3 Impermanence as extra hand traps in the deck to be able to stop your opponent from anything that they're going to try and do against you. This card is really, really good in that, just to be able to negate stuff. You can play Ghost Bells over it, like 2 Ghost Bells and a copy of Effect Veiler if you want, or 3 Ghost Bells if you're worried about Drytrons, but it's totally up to you. I like the copy of Impermanence, so I'm still playing Impermanence. But that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. And since it is a Pot of Extravagance extra deck, we are playing a lot of 2-ofs, so bear in mind. So I'm playing 2 copies of Dolka. I've thought about bumping Dolka up to 3 and dropping Lagia down to 2, because I feel like Dolka is really good in a lot of scenarios where Lagia is just really good in decks that like normal summon. So I play 2 Dolkas and 2 Lagias for the moment, but I might change it to 3 Dolkas and 1 Lagia in the future. But Dolka right now is just really, really insane, because during either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated, you can detach a material from this card and negate the activation if you destroy it, and it just negates any monster effect, which is why I'm thinking about bumping this up to 3. We then play 2 copies for now of Lagia. You can change one of the Lagias out route for a Dolka, it's up to you. But what this does is when a monster would be normal or special summoned or a spell or trap is activated, you can detach 2 materials from this card and negate the activation if you destroy that card, which is really good just to be able to negate spells and traps. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards playing 2 and 2 and not 3 and 1, but I don't know yet. I'm still kind of testing it around, but I'm really leaning towards 3 Dolka. We then play a single copy of Cyframe Lord Omega. You go into it very infrequently, but if you do go in on your turn with your effect of your Cyframe Gear Gamma, you go into this. We play 2 copies of Link Rebo. Link Rebo is really good to go in with your copy of the Orbi Dinosaur. You can use it with that to go into this, and then you can link it away to go into your copy of Secure Gardna, which then you'll have the Orbi Dinosaur and this in the graveyard, which will then let you use your copy of Double Evolution Pill that you just searched off of it to be able to banish those cards, to be able to go into your copy of your Ultimate Conductor, which is super nice. 1 copy of Phoenix. Phoenix is just a 1-of to me. I don't feel like I need more than 1 because I'm also playing Tornado Dragon in the deck. So I feel like the copy of Phoenix is fine as a 1-of. I play 1 copy of AA Zeus. AA Zeus is one of those cards you don't have to play. It's my personal tech in the deck because I can board wipe my opponent with it, and it's like an extra like board wipe against my opponent, which is why I like playing this as a 1-of in the deck, but you don't have to play it. You could honestly, if you wanted to, you could drop this 1-of and play a 3rd Dolka that way and play 3 and 2 if you want to go that route too. We play Double Abyss Dweller because Double Abyss Dweller just locks our opponent's graveyard down, which is super nice, especially with like a lot of decks running around that are dealing with the graveyard. This card's really good because just by detaching material from this card, your opponent cannot activate any effects in the graveyard this turn, which is really, really good, and it's a quick effect. So essentially, if you're going first and you know you're playing against like, I don't know, Drytron, and they're playing from the graveyard already, then you can use this and it'll shut down the graveyard, and it limits their plays a little bit, but it's really a great card to play in the extra deck. And then we play 2 copies of Tornado Dragon just to be able to stop our opponent's spells and traps to be able to pop those cards, which is why I only feel like 1 Phoenix is necessary, because this basically you overlay 2 level 4s into it and you don't have to discard the card, and this is 200 attack points higher, and it's just overall a really good card in the extra deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really solid deck that I hope you guys give it a shot if you guys have dinosaurs. If you don't have dinosaurs, you should definitely pick them up because they're super fun to play with. And they just keep avoiding the ban list. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, they've only ever been hit 1 time on the TCG ban list, and that was Miscellaneousaurus to 1, and then it went immediately back to 3 on like 2 lists later. So this deck, for some reason, just avoids every ban list for like 3 years, which is insane. But it's a really good deck, and still it's a fun deck to play around, and it's still top. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on the screen, become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.